hosted by Brandy Pett.
Welcome everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the Yes I Am the Veteran podcast, co-hosted with my amazing partners, Miss Pacifica Sauer, 6-time Emmy Award winner and producer of the U.S. MST documentary, and the always lovely Miss Amelia Peacock of the Sentinels Collective. How are you doing, ladies?
Doing fantastic, thank you. How are you?
I'm here.
I feel you, sis.
It's one of those weeks. So tonight we're going to be spotlighting the MST PTSD Symposium and the incredible organizations that made it possible. So before we do begin, I do want to ground our conversation with a few very important facts. According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, about 1 in 3 women and 1 in 50 men who seek VA healthcare report experiencing military sexual trauma or MST. When you combine harassment and assault, studies show that nearly 16% of all service members report MST, with rates as high as 38% among women veterans. Keep in mind, a lot of these studies, they believe it could potentially be even higher. So this is just the people that stepped up and they answered these types of questions. And I'm very much interested in seeing future studies on this matter as well, because it's something I find very near and dear to my heart as an issue in the veteran community. And so MST is strongly linked to PTSD, depression, substance use, and higher suicide risk. That's why conversations like this and collaborations like this symposium matter so much. Tonight, each organization will have about 5 minutes to share their story, their mission, and their role in this collaborative effort. So we are going to be bringing out the always amazing Miss Larissa Martinez from the Circle of Arms. How are you doing, sis?
Hey, hello, good evening. Thank you so much for having us or having me on and the rest of the team.
Absolutely. Definitely always a pleasure to see you, sis, and very much looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us about tonight, as well as about your organization and really about the symposium as well. And so, Larissa, what inspired you to start Circle of Arms, and what gap do you see it filling in today's veteran community?
Well, as many veterans that I've talked to, having gone through trauma in the military and a survivor of MST, when I separated, I was on automatic pilot and I didn't want anything to do with the military. I didn't claim that I was a veteran. I didn't acknowledge it. And not until after, 10 years of me just being on automatic pilot and me going through my second divorce and figuring out the behaviors that I was having not only an impact on myself, but my children. And I really needed to unpack the trauma, which I had been, suppressing for so long. And so once I did finally start to go and look for help, my husband now too is also an Army veteran. We started to see that there was a lot of gaps, not only in the VA healthcare, but when it comes to mental health. And
Absolutely.
so I just said, you know what, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I really just want to fill the gaps where it's needed, and make sure that, nobody else is having such a hard time navigating the system. And so Circle of Arms was born, and I kind of got the name from me envisioning a circle of arms of support for all of us, sister and brothers in arms, but also women and minority communities, as I feel that specific groups, veterans, women, minority communities, we have a harder time to ask for help. And so that's what I wanted to bring, is that awareness and advocacy and, the education, and just make sure that nobody is left unheard.
How has your vision evolved since you founded the organization? And what do you think is your proudest moment of impact so far?
That's a hard question. I feel that we've grown organically, which I 100% love. I'm not one to ever be, I guess you could say, follow the crowd. I try to stay in my lane when I need to. And, I just want to make sure that I'm creating an environment and space and programs and events that are very impactful. I want somebody to leave from an event and say, you know what, I didn't know that before I went there, and I know I have this piece of knowledge that I can take with me, or I just now grew my network of support, 2 times. I feel that being as an MST advocate as well, bringing the awareness that we need to bring to the up forefront, right? And making sure that we are continue to stay advocates and continue to be there for our younger generation, because we all are mentors to our younger generations. And so we need to make sure that we are bringing that awareness to them and setting their expectations that, hey, we have a whole bunch of veterans, sister in arms and brother in arms for you, that if y'all ever run into this, like, you can come and count on us to be there, and we got your back. And then we offer our COA Peers program, which is we're the only veteran organization that does that here in Texas. And that is, we provide door-through-door transportation for sedation appointments, CMP exams, and also sensitive situations like domestic violence, sexual assault, if they need to go report or go to the hospital or whatnot. And that is really where a lot of our focus is, though, and on our COA Peers program, and providing that not only the transportation and door through door, but we also provide a peer along with the for the client or for the veteran. And so I think that in ourself has been one of our biggest, I guess you could say, highlights in our organization, along with just some of the events, especially the MST PTSD that we are planning or that we hosted. That's always kind of been a vision of mine.
And let me ask you, Larissa, I mean, especially as you speak about the MST and PTSD Symposium that's coming up, the first inaugural, right, for San Antonio. Yes. Share with us some of the highlights of the symposium's planning, its sponsorship, swag bags, speaker lineup, just anything that showcases what I know to be an extremely collaborative spirit, that your event that is going to be an amazing opportunity for the impact, education, and everything it's going to provide. Share with us about it, please.
For sure. Absolutely. I like I said, the last few years, I knew I wanted to hold an MST PTSD symposium, because I know we had a PTSD symposium, but nothing really focusing on PTSD from MST. And so just the collaborative of all efforts, the partners to the sponsors, we have amazing breakaway sessions and keynotes. And I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. I wanted to make sure that we really had a versatile panel, because sometimes we can get into just, a routine of having the same people talking the same. And we're like, yay, great. I love what you're doing, but I really want to hear somebody else, because I want to make sure that every speaker, every keynote, can relate to somebody in the audience. And I think that's what's so impactful, is that, I mean, we're getting calls to this day. Like, somebody called me today and said, I didn't see the flyer at the VFW till today, and I really want to go, and can I still register? And I'm like, oh, Amelia's going to kill me, but yes, go ahead and register. We want you there. And so, the audience is so versatile, from survivors, from spouses, from caregivers, from clinicians that treat veterans. It's just an array of different audience. So I'm really amazed by the collaborative effort.
I truly love that about all of the different nonprofits in the veteran community, especially in San Antonio, because I'm seeing so many more events, and something like this. It's so needed, and I absolutely can't wait to see this whole symposium. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yes, thank you.
And finally, what does the spirit of collaboration mean to Circle of Arms, especially in a space that often requires breaking down silos?
I think it means just us just being transparent and genuine, right? That's all we can ask from anybody, is just to be your transparent and genuine self. And we can't have expectations. In the beginning, when I first ran the nonprofit, I had so many expectations of so many organizations and so many leaders out there, that I ended up feeling the letdown of when it wasn't my expectation. So now it's kind of like I understand that that's my perception and that's my expectation. But collaboratively, we're all here to do a mission, right? In one aspect or another. And we just need to continue following our mission, and it will lead us straight down the path that we're supposed to. And I think that for the symposium, I think a big highlight is just having Angelina Resendez's mom showing up, right, as a guest speaker. She's gone through so much, and I know that, I wanted to make sure and protect and not like protect her as well as her mental wellness. But she is just right now, like she says, I'm a mother turned activist. And she's like, I'm using this platform because we all know that things trend and then they die down. So as long as she has a platform, and if I can help her spread that as well, like that's all of us in a collaborative joint effort, lifting up each and every one of us, but especially her because of what happened with her daughter, Angelina.
That's really amazing. I love seeing the support rallying around her, and her choosing to advocate for others because of her experiences, and that just really speaks to the volumes. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we very much appreciate having you come in and visit us today. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to have you go back to the green room, and we'll circle back, sis.
Of course. Bye. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we very much look forward to seeing you at the symposium.
Yes. I look forward to seeing you as well. Thank y'all.
And so now we are going to be introducing Lucy Delgado, and she's going to be an MST PTSD speaker, and she's also a Pink Berets ambassador. We haven't had Pink Berets in the house in about 3 years. I think Juanita Sopavita was the last one we had. So, so welcome, sis. How are you?
Thank you for having me this evening. I was a last-minute replacement for Stephanie Gatas, so I'm dialing in from New Jersey. I'll be flying in to participate in the symposium.
And we're so very excited to be able to see you, Lucy. I know that the Pink Berets have been instrumental in helping plan and get this together, bringing in partners and all kinds of things. And so I'd like to start with, asking, you had mentioned, we had a chance to talk, and I'm so thankful you had mentioned that, and this is amazing, 10 years, boots on the ground, right? 10 years for the Pink Berets. And so how does that impact, or how does that type of support make a difference for women veterans?
Oh, it's this difference that you have community around you, because when you experience military sexual trauma, you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're the only one that's experienced this. And the sisterhood that the Pink Berets builds around this community is so vital, so important. So having that community, that camaraderie, that support system, and a support system that's full of resources that makes such a huge, a huge difference in a survivor's life.
Yeah. Absolutely. And could you share an example of how the Pink Berets' unique approach has amplified the reach or impact of this event?
I mean, I'm in Jersey, so the Pink Berets are all over the place.
I love it.
It started small in San Antonio. It took flight 5 years ago when the Pink Berets entered the Me Too military movement after the death of Vanessa Guillen. And, they've gotten to work, and it's just not resources. It's just not helping their local. It's become a national level where, Stephanie has been placed on a multitude of different boards and different, seats in different work groups. Like myself and Stephanie sit on the VA work group for sexual assault and sexual harassment. Stephanie sits on the DOD different policies. We've changed legislation, which is something that we've had the opportunity. Many of the Pink Berets have had the opportunity to speak on the Congress floor and to give testimony. So it's made a huge difference and a huge impact. And again, it's just not a San Antonio small local We have chapters in Wyoming, we have chapters in Alabama, we have chapters all over the country that have really made significant changes in the MST fight.
What role have your networks and partnerships played in pulling the symposium together?
Again, the San Antonio crew really pulled all these resources together, from the folks who are providing us lunch and breakfast to, swag and resources, pulling everybody in that knows what the Pink Berets could do. And again, what's so important is that, like Larissa said, we are community. We all help each other out. And when one calls, we're there to answer. And that's the beauty of being in an organization like this.
Absolutely. No, thank you so very much. Yes, Sarit, you couldn't have said it better. And it's so good to have you on. Hello, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to have you on with us, Sarit. And so, Ms. Lucy, I know, right? She's amazing. Another sister in arms, right? I love it. But I'm just so curious, Miss Lucy, why, I know you kind of started mentioning this, but kind of break down a little bit more for me, why community connection is so vital for women veterans who are navigating that MST and PTSD recovery, and becoming that survivor.
I mean, for me, I'm going to use myself as an example because the Pink Berets really changed me as a person. I remember my first Catalyst retreat, an event that the Pink Berets host yearly, and going there and having this sense of community, all these women around me that are uniquely, their stories are uniquely different, but we all are there for the same reason. And it was such community building and such a like a load off my back that I had someone next to me and beside me and in front of me that had experienced the same thing, and building this sisterhood. And that's what's so important about this. It's that you're not alone, you're not invisible, because that's what, a lot of people make us feel like we're totally invisible. And we are not invisible when you become part of an organization like this.
Absolutely. And
thank you so much, Miss Lucy. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm hosting 2 sessions in the conference and flying in on Saturday and being there. So I'm truly honored and blessed that Larissa had the mindset of putting this together. So I'm really honored to be there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we very much look forward to hearing your speaking engagements.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to have you go back on into the green room. I wish we could spend a whole hour with each of these speakers tonight. So I feel very bad that we're not letting them shine as much as I'd like. But I mean, that would be like a 5-hour podcast, and I'd feel bad for everybody whose back's involved. For all veterans, after
It's
all.
all good.
But thank you so much, and we very much look forward to seeing you at the symposium.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so we will be bringing out Eric Hall from Warrior's Heart. And hi, Eric. How are you doing? Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh.
There you are.
Oh, there you go.
Awkward moment. Sorry, Eric. You leave me to make it awkward.
Messing up the order. Usually you do it in a different order.
She's maybe.
I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad the Marine did.
That's all right. Just roll with it. It's good.
You have an airman, you got a Navy veteran, you have a Marine on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Friendly ribbings always tend to happen.
Well, all we need now is a couple light bulbs.
Spoken to Newsies, Insidia.
Eric, what motivated Warrior's Heart to not only sponsor but take an active role in the planning committee for the symposium?
As soon as I got an email with the idea, just jumped on it. Like, how can Warrior's Heart help? Right? Whether it's sponsorship, speaking, setting up, doing groups, anything that we could do to assist. And then you guys took us up on all of our offers, right? So we're got a guest speaker, we're running a group, we're doing a booth, we're helping set up anywhere we can, became a sponsor, because there's no competition when it comes to MST and PTS, right? The competition is that, not businesses. So when an organization says, hey, we want to bring awareness so people don't feel alone and they can get help, how can we not be part of that, right? I mean, how do you do that? How do you sit there and look at something as traumatic as what we deal with every day, and just turn around and say, hey, good luck, we're going to stay over here, right? It's a team effort. So it was an easy decision to say, I am volunteering anybody in the company to assist. And it just grew from there, and we're super excited for Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
As are we.
Absolutely.
It's exciting.
Thank you.
It is.
So, how does Warriors Heart mission align with a symposium's focus on both MST and PTSD?
Okay, so Warriors Heart, we do something truly unique. First, we're the nation's provider that only services warriors, which is your active duty, your veterans, and your first responders, right? Because our slogan is Warriors Healing Warriors. So when you're sitting around that fireside chat and you want to talk about your group session, your trauma, anything like that, we want you to be able to relate to other people who are in professions that get a lot of trauma and MST situations. So Warriors Heart, we like to tackle that in two ways. One is substance abuse, because we all know trauma ties into substance abuse most times, including suicide due to trauma. Substance abuse, I believe, is part of veteran suicide about 70 to 80% of the time. So you have to tackle both. Like, how do you get sober so that you can then face your trauma? And then how do you deal with that trauma? So for Warriors Heart, us being aligned is we are there to help those who have substance abuse and trauma issues, whatever that trauma may be. And as we all know, some of us do not want to share all of that trauma. Like, we're saying, yeah, this happened, but I'm not going to talk about this, right? Because that's not fun. That's scary, or I might get judged.
Yeah.
Right. You could, if you're in and you say something, right, then you got to deal with it. Or if you're out, you don't want to be judged or labeled. You might not want any pity. You know, especially if you're a man with MST, right? You don't want to hit that like, oh, I'm a macho man, I was a Green Beret, how dare that happen to me? And then you come to us, and then it all comes out. And then we get to really deal with it instead of try to hide it. So having this symposium where that's the topic of trauma, and saying it's okay, there's a lot of us who have it, and that's okay, because we're here for each other. And being here in Military City, USA, right, having it in San Antonio, perfect place for it. So for Warriors Heart headquarters right outside of San Antonio, we just thought, hey, the more awareness we can bring that it's okay if you have trauma, there's help. It just aligns exactly to what we want to do is heal our warriors.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's amazing, Eric. And I really appreciate it. And just so everyone's aware, is what Eric's talking about. I mean, they're going to also, we have counselors who are going to be managing the safe room. So licensed counselors who are going to be managing that. That's going to be a mixture of VA employees as well as Warriors Heart, who's going to be running our safe room, so that there's always a space if you're feeling overwhelmed or you need some just quiet time. There is a space that we have set aside for that, and they're a huge part of being able to make that happen as well. And so with what you were just talking about in mind, Eric, like from your perspective, a little bit more into, you know, because for me, it's so important to have a representative for my brothers in arms who have gone through situations, just as it's important for me as a female to be able to relate to a female. And so with that, why is inclusivity such a critical component of healing and community support? So
You have it in two aspects that we see all the time, because we have, we have males and females at Warriors Heart. And then there is also female groups, and you'd be surprised how many of them do not want a female group. Like they actually, do you mind if I just go to the normal, like the standard group? Because I feel safe here to talk about it. Why? Because of the two, I wouldn't say minority classes, but the ones that are blocked off. One is, can a female have trauma if it's not military sexual trauma, right? And it's like, what does that mean, right? Like war was for everybody, right? Not just for males. So that's ridiculous. And the second thing is, well, if you're a man, there's no way you had MST. And so you take both of those and you're like, really? Like, is this what we're about? So one of the things that we realize is having that Warriors community on a safe space at Warriors Heart, all that is pushed out the window. Male, female, whatever branch of service you were in, or if you're just a warrior, right? Because we have first responders, you have law enforcement, firefighters, EMTs, males, females, they all deal with trauma, and then you have your active duty reservist, National Guard, and veteran. So that's all we look at is the warrior class. Whether or not you're homeless, criminal record, insurance, no insurance, money, sex, the type of trauma, how long the trauma is, we can't define what trauma is to them, right? To me, like my trauma isn't the same as your trauma.
Right.
And so in our space, there's a no judgment. So everybody is inclusive because your trauma might just be like you witnessed something terrible and somebody else says, I was a victim of something terrible. And somebody says, I did something terrible. Guess what? It's all terrible. We're going to get through it. And this symposium is a way to bring awareness to that and other resources. Even if it's not Warriors Heart, there's other resources out there. And so those who might be ashamed to look, you get to bring a spotlight and say, you don't even have to look. It's all right here for you. When you feel safe, when you have that courage, when you have that need, here are all the resources for you. And that is a true community effort. That's a nationwide effort, which is why we're national and a lot of these organizations are national. We're about to hit our 10-year mark as well. So we've expanded a second site that just hit 2 years. We're looking at a third site in about 18 months, hopefully. So the need is there. The key is the community has to bring awareness that there's help instead of hiding.
What message do you hope attendees take away from the Warriors Heart's role in this effort?
So there's a couple things. The first one is it truly is warriors healing warriors, right? It's not going to be that you're sitting there talking to somebody who can't relate, which then reduces that judgment fear of if I say too much, I'm going to be judged, right? It goes part of the substance abuse in the 12 steps, right? It doesn't say for you to just admit some of the things you did wrong. Trauma's the same way. If you only admit some of it, you're not going to heal from any of it. And so at Warriors Heart, we want to make sure people know that we're a safe space. We get you because we are you. I would have to guess, I don't have the exact numbers. I would say at least 80% of our staff is either in the Warriors class or recovery. And we talk about it, we share our stories. So we let them know it's a few small choices in life that separates the client from the staff. And sometimes our staff were those clients. So if we can be part of this and say Warriors Heart is here for you, or we'll guide you in the direction if we're not the right spot for you. But Warriors Heart is here for our warriors for that substance abuse trauma healing. So now they can go back to a more productive and energetic life without fear, without hiding, without all the things that come with how you react to trauma. And we get to help them cope with that. So we just want people to be aware that we're here to help and that it is a community. So although we're here to help, we're not the only person to help. There's going to be a whole team there that's there to help, and we're just one piece of that.
And I very much, and as well as I believe my co-hosts as well, very much are looking forward to seeing you at the symposium as well and hearing a lot more about what it is you have to say. And I thought it was very interesting that you were speaking about those different studies, especially with post-traumatic stress. I know a recent study caught my eye. They were specifically saying that they're finding a correlation to post-traumatic stress and like dangerous or risky behaviors in many different aspects. And I think that correlation, I wish they talked about it more. And having that, the no judgment area, I think that's really something to speak for. And it's, I think, really refreshing to hear that, especially that a lot of the staff, like, they once could understand exactly where they stand. Because I believe us as veterans, a lot of times we feel that, with people that we see, like, at least clinically, by the time they don't understand me or they've never been in this position in their life. And, how can you give me advice when you had never stood in my shoes? So I think it speaks volumes as to what you're doing. And I know that, and like I said, I wish we had more time to ask you more questions, and I feel terrible, but we'll absolutely love to have you on at a later time, as well as all of our guests tonight, so we can really talk about what it is you do, because we're very much skimming a lot of your programs, like not even scratch the surface. But I'd like to show the flyers as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And see if you'd like to talk about them a bit. I know, and we'll be posting these on our page as well, just because the overlay, it doesn't show it.
So this is what we have a flyer for each of our warrior class. So we have one for, the active duty military, which includes National Guard and Reserves. We have one for veterans, one for law enforcement, one for firefighters, and one for EMTs. And what it is our Earn the Right page. It's a front and back. And I use it in my national outreach plan for Warriors Heart. And what it does is it allows people to understand why Warriors Heart has earned the right to care for you or your loved one, because we're not coming in and telling you what to do. What we're saying is, hey, we've earned the right to at least listen and give you the tools that we know can help. And there's a lot of hard work. So we have to prove that we've earned it, because we're going to put you through 6 weeks of tough work, and it doesn't end at the end of the 6 weeks. So your first question is, well, who the heck are you to tell me I have to work my butt off for the rest of my life? So this kind of is a pamphlet that we use to show why we've earned that right to help you.
So we'll be posting these on our Yes, I Am the Veteran podcast pages, as well as the symposium flyer. So I know it's like, I know I can't read the words, but it'll be much more legible, I promise, in font that our old veteran eyes can read, I promise. But thank you so much, Eric, for coming on tonight, and we're very much looking forward to seeing you at the symposium. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now we are going to bring on some of my favorite people, Texas Veterans Commission, and Miss Sharon Stewart. How are you doing today?
Fine. How are you? It's actually Sharon. I heard Amelia go.
Sharon, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That's my fault. It has been a rough day, and that's not an excuse. I apologize, Sharon.
No, you're fine. And I just have to say, I love your hair, Brandy. It's like blowing in the wind, girl. You're giving Beyonce on the screen, girl.
Getting Miss Veteran America flashbacks right now with the fan blower. I appreciate it, but at the same time, I'm like been trying to kind of low key tuck it. And so, Sharon, trauma-based engagement is at the heart of your work, as many other things as well. Can you break down what that looks like in action when serving veterans?
Yes, ma'am. As you all probably know, the Texas Veterans Commission, we're a state-level agency, and we're broken down to 8 different programs and/or departments. But when it comes to MST, when it comes to me, I like to talk to that veteran and explain the process and the ins and outs and the doctrine. And I'm an Army vet, so we love doctrine, the regulations, but to explain how you file a claim for the results of military sexual trauma. Because if you're equipped and empowered, and if it was up to me, if I could explain everything to you in Army talk, if I could get you to file that claim, one shot and one kill, where you're not going back 50 times, you're not retelling your story, that is my goal. So to me, that is something that I try, I aim for.
And so I'm sorry, Miss Brandy.
I was just gonna say thank you.
No, absolutely. And so because that really is meaningful access, right? And so when speaking or what does meaningful access to resources really mean, like beyond just that availability? I feel like you kind of answered that with some of this. And so share with us a little bit, even beyond that, like if you have any additional insights you'd like to share on that, but also how this plays into supporting the MST and PTSD Symposium and why that is so impactful for what you're doing and that level of hands-on guidance.
Okay. I don't know if this is the answer that you want, but when it comes to me, in my train of thought, I'm an English major, so I'm not a therapist, but when somebody comes to me, and it's male and female, as we all know, when they entrust me with their trauma, I almost feel like that's a gift to me. You trust me to come alongside you. So I want to, besides having compassion, I want to empower you. You will talk to me because I used to file claims. I'm no longer accredited, but I will let people, if you need to talk to me 3 or 4 or 5 times so you can know what you need to do, and it's a gift to be trusted. And to me, filing a claim and getting your rating, I believe it's part of the healing process. I think it's one of the first steps. It's not like you don't need anybody to validate your pain, but I feel like you're being, in a way, you are being validated, So I love to help people. I hate the horrendous part of it, but just being coming alongside and helping, hopefully initiate that healing process.
And I think that's the hardest time is actually initiating it. I apologize, Pacifica.
No,
I know many times because I was an aerospace medical technician, and one of the things I specialize in is I can review any service member's medical record, because I literally was trained by the 4Fs, which were the physicals technicians, to be able to do that, and having to do many, many scrubs. I don't know how many times I've had to arm wrestle like women to even file for, because they feel like they're going to get laughed out of the office or something along those lines would happen. And like there's been a few times where I've told them, I'll bet you we're going to go ahead and file, and just the worst thing that will happen is they tell you no. But what happens if they tell you that yes? That could change your life.
Exactly. I think it's a game changer. You don't do it for the compensation, but VA disability is non-taxable. Here in Texas, it helps lower your property tax. If you're at least 50%, that's free health care for you for the rest of your life. You get the little mileage check. Your prescriptions are mailed to your house. I think it can be a game changer, in that veteran's life.
I agree.
There are a lot of better barriers, though. You were kind of talking about some of them. A lot of us have had to tell doctors, professionals, mental health folks over and over again our story. It's never just one time, and so I now I'm going to lose my train of thought, because that's the.
You're so right. One thing we were doing, Larissa was heading up a MST working group here in the state of Texas. And once this is completed, one thing we're looking at as we reconvene, we were looking at asking for all the organizations that help veterans file claims, why not put on your website what you need to do to file for MST? Because it's so triggering. You get up enough courage to go into the office and say, I want to file for this. But if you don't know you need a diagnosis, you don't know you need forms, I just hate that. You know, it's just so heartbreaking. Yeah, I mean, at least to me, you know what I'm saying? So why not, if we could get all organizations, this is what you need to file a claim. So you could just show up, I need to file a claim, here's my forms, go ahead and file my claim. You know, that's something we discussed. And, you know, I look forward to us reconvening and hopefully trying to get some type of action, making it happen.
But first, you need to have people admit they're a veteran and to begin with. And
Yes.
Say that. I don't know why. I don't know why.
That's broken my heart.
I know why, because I did it for the better part of 20 years. Shame is a core belief. And you don't want to answer the questions that come next, you know, like how long were you in and what made you get out and all this other kind of stuff. But from your experience, what barriers do you think still need to be addressed to ensure that veterans feel supported?
Well, I think that a lot of veterans, you know, we don't trust large organizations. We kind of trust that human, you know, if my buddy said you're good, my buddy, you know, so trusting those bureaucracies. So I think a lot of veterans, you know, kind of like you're saying, they don't feel seen, or, you know, they may not feel heard. And I'm of the belief that TVC, that we're here to, in Army Talk, we're that S1, you know, we're that S1 that looking at the VA. We are here to make that interaction easier. We have healthcare advocates, you know, who help run down help you get your appointments and all that. So, but yeah, some of them don't, but hopefully we're approached, because the majority of people that work at TVC are veterans. So we're here to help our fellow veterans.
And I think Texas Veterans does so much for the veteran community. If you do reside in the state of Texas and you have not physically walked into Texas Veterans Commission to even just learn about what they do, and they don't just do things related to claims. So definitely check out the website. So each of the speakers has the website that goes directly to them, and they list their programs and what it is that is more in depth. And like I said, we could have Sharon on for a whole hour. We had Miss Felicia Kelly from Texas Veterans come on a few years back, and
I love her.
She is a legend.
Yes,
and she specifically spoke about this and about like a lot of that, and the fact that a lot of women or people that have MSC, should I say, there's like 70. I think there's a study that they did with the VA, and there was like 70% were alcohol that was involved in some manner, and so many people it happened when they were deployed. They're so afraid that they'll be court-martialed just for even claiming that. And that was something that she spoke a lot about, even like nexus letters and, you know, just how to get the process started. And
in lay evidence, there's a way, and that is like, I hate to say, but that is my jam. I've helped a Vietnam era vet who got laughed out of the office by male veterans when he said this happened to him. I said, go get this, go get that. That gentleman got 2 years of back pay. He got over $70,000 because he understood the process, the doctrine.
Yes.
That right there.
That part.
You hit the nail on the head, ma'am.
Absolutely. And so how does Texas Veterans Commission's role in this symposium demonstrate the importance of institutional and grassroots collaboration?
Well, I believe grassroots actually have their thumb on the pulse of that. I'll have to go back to Army Talk. In Army Talk, grassroots organizations are boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. They're new. They're agile. They're right. We engage veterans on a daily basis, but they're right there, going. You know what's on the tip of the spear, so to speak. So just having that synergy. You know, so you're enabling me. I have my left and right limits, but joining with that grassroots, it enables me to pivot. I'm doing things this way, But you know what? A veteran in September 2025, this is what they need this way. So, okay, thanks for letting me know that. I can pivot to adapt to what my brother and sister veteran needs.
Outstanding.
Yes, thank you so much. Every time I speak with anyone from Texas Veterans like Commission specifically on this podcast, I always learn new things. And yes, we definitely would love to have everybody that came on tonight come on again independently, and I just really go deep dive into more about what it is each organization does. And yes, definitely please check out Texas Veterans, and we very much are looking forward to seeing you at the symposium as well.
All right, and I promise the next time you talk to me, I'll talk like a civilian. I'll brush up on my civilian needs. So I do apologize.
Ma'am, this is a veteran podcast. It's in the name.
Okay.
Literally, you are
right now.
It makes us uncomfortable. Like, to be honest, we don't outright shun civilians. That's not true. However, we make it a comfortable environment for veterans too. So don't worry about that at all. And actually, it's funny because we have Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Army all on one screen right now. All represented.
Good. Thank you so much for the privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
And so let's bring out our next speaker. Hold on. Let me see. Drum roll, please. Miss Amelia Peacock from the Sentinels Collective. Please, warm welcome.
Yay. Thank you. I appreciate it, ladies. Thank you so much.
What did I do it right? I wasn't going to halfway unfair to you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be awkward again because I'm just lost all
It's
over.
okay.
Well,
Nope,
so
not
I have a few questions. So
Amelia, so as we bring this together, what do you feel is the biggest takeaway about mission-driven, community-centered collaborative?
I think
collaborative.
No, absolutely. Is that my computer ticking? Never mind. That is so weird.
Why does it sound like wind pants? I'm getting flashbacks
know.
of the 90s.
It was doing that earlier when I was on, and I don't know. So it's going back to Dell. I do apologize. That kind of made me squirrel. But why do I feel like this is the mission? What's the biggest takeaway about mission-driven, community-centered collaboration with this? I think that it's everything that we've spoken about tonight. Every single person has spoken about the power and the importance of peers. Having that person who can understand exactly what it is that, that we are talking about when we deal with these different situations, and that to me, I think is the biggest thing, the power, like Sharon mentioned, the power of all the partnerships, the power of bringing so many different resources together for individuals to be able to know that they are not alone and they don't have to walk in their walk alone. That they have a lot of support and a lot of individuals who have navigated some of those bridges. And we're here to be able to try to help them better navigate than what we were able to. So it's better for the next person.
Thank you. And so how does the Sentinels Collective define impact, and how do you measure success in partnerships?
Oh, wow. Well,
90 songs.
No, absolutely. I mean, impact, I would find that in kind of, the Sentinels Collective is founded, of course, by me in order to be a transformative organization for trauma-informed advocacy, peer support, and community-centered leadership. It's rooted in lived experience and strategic empathy, and its ultimate goal is really to amplify marginalized voices while creating spaces for healing-centered dialogue and systemic change. And that to me is exactly what being a part of this MST and PTSD Symposium planning and being able to help bring this to life, that to me is success in a partnership, because it is lifting every single person up. It is supplying resources, education, empowerment to be able to move forward and take control of your destiny and how you want to move forward, and not how other things have controlled it for you in the past that may not be realized.
What does leading with mission first rather than ego or competition look like in practice for you?
I would think that you've seen it tonight. I think that you've seen it with every single organization that has been on here, from the original mission and vision that Larissa came up with, to opening up her organization, to reaching out to other organizations within the community to say, hey, I want to do this. I see your work. I see what you do in the community as either those grassroots or those major organizations like Texas Veterans Commission, Warriors Heart, the Pink Berets, Circle of Arms, and it's a bringing together so that we can truly impact our community in a positive manner for the betterment of their lives and ours too.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so for those listening, what is one way that they can step up and support efforts like this symposium?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I would say get connected with every single one of the organizations. Get connected with the people that you've seen on here tonight. Show up. If you've already had the chance and opportunity to register, good, because that means you have a higher chance of having food. If you have not registered, you're welcome to show up the day of, but we cannot promise that you'll have food day of. And that's just sorry, but it ended up, we have a lot, we had a higher interest level than we had anticipated for, which I'm very excited for, because that means that we're doing something right. And so I'm just so very excited about that, but also in a way to be able to support that, because it is, we are working in a lot of different areas and bringing a lot of things together. There is donations that can be provided if you're interested in supporting the symposium, and providing some of the donations that have come out of pocket and things of that nature for some of the different ins and outs. And so there is a donations link, and that is something that would be very grateful. That, and then also I would just say, and I'm going to use this as a almost lead into what I know you're going to bring everybody else back on, Brandy, but I just want to kind of use this as a lead in. The last aspect of that is how you can step up and support efforts like this. Paying attention to what's going on within our community, right? Paying attention to the stories of what is going on, to the outrages of Vanessa Guillen, of Angelina Resendez, of so many more of our brothers and sisters in arms. And with that, I just want to, that to me is how you can show up and stand up and support. And this MST and PTSD Symposium, I'm going to let Larissa expound upon that a little bit more, but that is the essence of what this MST and PTSD Symposium is knowing where we came, where we need to go, and how do we move there together and united.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And we're definitely always looking forward to seeing you, Miss Amelia. It's not like I would, but either way, I absolutely very much looking forward to seeing the Sentinel Collective at the symposium as well. And we will go ahead and do our panel wrap up very quickly. I know that the podcast did run a little bit longer, but when the information is so needed, I never want to rush somebody. So, and honestly, I felt like, we could, like I said, we could have easily done an hour for each of our speakers, because they have so much vital information. And before we did go to the panel interviews, so I did want to ask Pacific a quick question. So will you be debuting your documentary at the symposium? I heard a possible rumor. I was just curious.
Oh no, probably just the first half hour.
Okay.
But I do plan on giving the folks who attend a link to the full film so they can watch it on their own, and then do the survey.
Yeah.
So absolutely. You won't be able to excited, but you can watch the whole thing on your own. Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I really it's going to be a very deep dive in a topic that I feel has not had nearly enough talk about it, and so I don't want to give too much of it away, but very much looking forward to watching your newest film.
Thank you.
And so, Amelia, I'm going to put you back in the green room with everybody else. Just kidding. No, just kidding. She's back. And so we'll go ahead and have everybody else back on. I know. Okay, so let's go ahead and have everybody come together for some closing reflections. Each of you brings a unique perspective. What surprised you most working alongside one another during this planning process for the symposium?
Larissa, you're muted.
I was like, wait.
Larissa, you're muted.
I can see her hands.
Dang it. Sorry. I just want to say that I'm so thankful for everybody, because sometimes I say this, I'm like the most, I guess, unusual, unorthodox type of leader or organizer. If you could see my open tabs on my laptop, that's how my brain works. And so I have like 100.
I live on the struggle bus, no judgment. We listen and we don't judge.
Yes. So I like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Oh, gosh, I need this. And, I'm always multitasking, always doing something. And just the welcomeness of everybody just pitching in and trying to help. And, not to say anybody did more than the other, but Amelia literally was like my, she was like my right hand, hand.
Absolutely.
And I did this and I got you the separated emails and I'm like, oh God, thank you. So she just really, really had my back throughout this, along with just everybody like Sharon and making sure we got the venue, and Stephanie with the food, and just things that I don't have to go back and think of. So I just feel like collectively and collaboratively we got to be closer just planning this. So I really think it went well.
No,
Thank you
so much for that. And Larissa, I want to wrap back around, because I know that there's an utter importance of the fact that this symposium is being held on a Tuesday, September 30th. Would you please share with us what that is and what the importance and significance of that is for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So September 30th, I knew from the start we were having it on September 30th, because not only 5 years ago, the Vanessa Guillen, the story about what happened to her and the injustice, it's 5 years later, and it's her heavenly birthday. And also it's Vanessa Guillen Day. A few years back, Texas did recognize September 30th as Vanessa Guillen Day. So all of those just together tie in the importance of why we needed to have it on September 30th. I wanted to ensure that we honored Vanessa Guillen and the story that we will continue to honor, years from now, but that we do something that makes an impact and spreads awareness, and that we continue to advocate for all our brothers and sisters on this topic, and not let it die, and not let it just be a trend, and that we continue really fighting, kind of like I like to say, your fight is our fight. And so that's what we really want to bring with the symposium.
And thank you so much. And I know, Sharon, we did go a bit over. I know we had a slightly bit different order, but I did want to ask you the same question.
I think that I'm not gonna say I was surprised, but I was pleased by how well we meshed, because I'm like to the point, no frills, but so it's just people with different mindsets and different perspectives. So that was very, I think everybody kind of just came together like the Avengers. We assembled and
Nice.
accomplished the mission. Yes.
I was about to say regulators.
Okay.
Yes, I love that.
Regulators.
As Rosie would say, we can do it, right?
Yes.
Well, let's go around real quick, in just one word. How do you describe the spirit of the symposium? Lucy.
I'm going to say it's electrifying. I think it's going to be a lot of people coalescing together and really supporting each other. But like Larissa said, September 30th is a day that brought a lot of people together. And that's when a lot of us organizations started to become one with each other. And that's where all the support came from. So I'm going to say electric. It's going to be electrifying.
How about you, Eric?
Word would be intention. right? None of us are coming there half butt. I'll watch my language. We're not coming in there half speed. We're all coming with a specific intent, and that is to bring awareness and to provide resources and help. And so intentional is probably a great way to summarize just the entire effort of it and the ripple effect that's going to come from this. So it's definitely intentional.
Miss Sharon.
I know you said one, but healing and hopeful.
Yeah.
Those are good. What do you think, Amelia?
I would say compassion and love.
Mm.
You get two too? You don't
Yes,
get
I
two.
do. Yeah.
Yay.
Give me a word. Give me a word, Larissa.
Empowering.
Empowering.
Yep.
Good.
That's what I would have said. That's awesome. If one person can be empowered, then that means that event was an absolute success.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I've been to so many events where they were far smaller in size, and people have actually come up and they've said, this is the first event I've been to in 12 years. I've never even identified as a veteran because of this. So, just like I said, if you empower one person, it was a success. What are you, Pacifica? I can ask you the word too, then, real quick.
Cool. I'll say authentic. That's the word of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eric said intentional. I'll say authentic, compassionate, healing, hopeful, unity, electrifying. I think that about gets it.
Thank you.
100%.
It's exciting.
And so, looking ahead, what do you hope this symposium sparks for the veteran community and beyond? Larissa, I'll start with you.
Just like the word empowerment, unity, just that, again, that there's somebody out there that may not know the resources, like Sharon saying, like getting like we got to get rid of the red tape. We really got to get rid of the red tape as a community, as organizations. I don't want to have to deal with red tape. I don't want to have to put veterans to deal with red tape when they try to get help. And so I just really hope moving forward that we can still collaborate and still come to each other and say, hey, we have somebody who really needs some, a service, or, a warm handoff, and really just that we follow up with everybody, because I feel like too, that's something that we don't, sometimes we just don't, do a lot, is that follow up. 30 days from now, 90 days from now, how are you doing since then? Like, just kind of that follow up. So I hope that that's what we bring.
Thank you. And what about you, Sharon?
I'm sorry, I thought I answered the question. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, so what do you hope the symposium sparks for the veteran community and beyond?
I hope it sparks that we have active, engaging conversations about MST and about our mental health. I don't understand the stigma behind being human and hurting. I just don't get it. So I'm really hoping that, that's what this will spark.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And what about you, Lucy? What do you hope that it sparks?
I'm hoping it's going to keep this communication and this going. I hope that we're going to create the next round of advocates to keep it, because again, my assault was in 92. And, I was on the heels of the tailhook scandal. That's when I was, and all those were going on. And I just want to keep this conversation going. I don't want it to become, go under the rug again. And I just want to make sure that we are prepping the next class of advocates to be ready to continue this fight.
Thank you. And what about you, Eric?
I hinted at it before, the ripple effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that we take to heart. We've already served over 3,600 warriors. And if you think, say each person has maybe 100 people that they engage with in the next couple of years. I mean, I'm Italian, right? You have 100 people at dinner. So think about people that have it. You hit millions of people And so whether there's one person who gets it, 10 people that get it, or 1,000 people that get it on Tuesday, it's that ripple effect that just has those endless possibilities. There's something amazing that could be said or done on Tuesday for somebody who's not even in the state of Texas. And that's neat. We don't have to know about it. All we need is we put that in the universe for that to happen. And so that's my biggest excitement, is the ripple effect that will come from this immediately and long term.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. And I know that, you know, I want to be so respectful of everyone's time. And this is such a huge and imperative conversation to have. And Lucy, Sharon, Larissa, Eric, Brandy, Pacifica, everyone involved, I am very, very grateful that we're going to be able to delve into this and continue to have those conversations that are going to keep going because of this, because people aren't going to feel alone, because someone is going to be touched by somebody's actions or something they hear. It is going to connect with them in a way today that you never know the outcome of, but it's going to be a positive one. And I can feel that in every aspect of the planning and everything that we've put together. And so I'm very excited and hopeful for this. And I know that we do need to wrap it up, but I just, I really want to say, you know, this has and is about leading with mission, impacting community. Thank you so much for tuning in, for standing with veterans and survivors everywhere. And Brandy, Pacifica, if you have any last things that you would like to share, I know you have your daughter does our.
Yeah, the outro very quickly. Yes. So I very quickly just wanted to show if anybody is wanting to donate or support the symposium specifically, even if you're not going to be there, we did put the link in our comments. So you can go ahead and click on that and it would redirect you there. But if you do have any questions, please do reach out. We are always happy to help here. Yes, I am a veteran. And what about you, Pacifica?
Like Lucy said, we got to keep this up because it's not going to be solved with this generation of veterans. It's going to happen 10, 20, 30 years from now. And until then, unfortunately, it's still going to happen. But our silence is consent. So it's time to find our voice and use it for good.
And absolutely. And thank you so much for being patient with us. Thank you all so much. And we very much look forward to seeing you all at the symposium. We are Yes, I Am the Veteran, and we will go ahead and say goodbye. And we will definitely follow up with all of you guys in the future for future podcasts. And if anyone has any questions about the symposium or anything like that, please do reach out. We are always happy to help. But Aurelia, take us away. Take us away, Nuggie.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, veterans!